Hello everyone. In this session, we will be talking about the logical functions in Tableau. Tableau offers several logical functions that enable you to perform the conditional operations and evaluate the logical expressions in your calculations. Here are some of the commonly used logical functions in Tableau. Starting with the ISDATE function. The ISDATE function is used to determine whether a given expression represents a valid date or not. It returns a Boolean expression in the form of true or false, indicating whether the expression is a valid date. The second one is the ISNULL. ISNULL is a function that checks if a specified field or expression is null. That is, it contains no data in the data source. It returns true if the field is null, false if it contains any kind of value. The next one is the case. The case function allows you to perform some conditional logic in Tableau. So it can be used to create some calculated fields or transform the data based on a specified conditions. You define different conditions and corresponding results for each of the conditions with the help of case functions. The next one is the if function. If is a simple conditional function that returns one value if a condition is true and another if it's false. It's often used for basic conditional transformation in calculated fields. The next one is the if null function. If null is used to replace null values in a field with a specified value. If a field contains some null values, it's replaced with a provided value, otherwise the original value is retained. The next one is the Zn function. Zn function is also known as zero if null. Zn is used to convert the null values to zero in a numeric expression. It is particularly useful when you are dealing with the calculations which involves the numeric fields with potential null values. Then we have the IIF, which is the immediate if. IIF function is a function that provides a shorthand way to create some conditional formatting expressions. It returns one value if a condition is true and other if it is false, similarly to the if function, but in a more concise way. These functions are essential for performing some logical expressions. For example, the data cleaning and the conditional transformation in Tableau calculation. They allow you to work with the data effectively and customize your visualization based on various conditions and requirements. Now, let's go to the Tableau screen and see some of the use cases of these type of logical functions. I am in my Tableau screen. Here we'll be looking at some logical functions. So let's try to create our first logical function, and first logical function that would be creating is case function. So under the logical functions, here is a case function. The case function would be used to provide any case like what would happen if this is a case or what would happen if this isn't the case. So if you want to create this kind of logics, you would be using some case functions. So under this case function, let's say I want it to give me a result that, let's say if I'm trying to find out some subcategories, and under those subcategories, if my subcategory name is accessories, it should tell me that it found it. If not, then it should say, no, I haven't found. So if I want to create this kind of expression, I can use case function. So over here, I'll write case and I'll give the value. Let's say I want to write subcategory, and when this subcategory is accessories. So after subcategory, I have to write this when function. When subcategory is accessories, so if I write accessories, here I have to be mindful that this should be inside the quotes. And until and unless this is inside the code, it would not recognize that whether this particular thing is a string or not. Since I know subcategory contains multiple values and all these values are in the form of a string, so it becomes very important to give the value inside the quotes. And here I can write if this subcategory is accessories, then it should tell me found it. And whenever I'm trying to give it an expression that you have to say this, that is also a string. That's why I'm writing it inside the, and I'll say that's all for this case. So let's end this. So to end this, I write end at the last, and this would end this case. So whenever you are writing these logical expressions, you have to be very mindful that you have to use end at the last. Since this calculation is valid, so I can proceed further with it. I'll write the name of it as the case test. Let's try to find out the different subcategories present in our data. For that, I'll double click on these subcategories and I have got the list of the subcategories. The case test that you just made appears in the dimensions because it is a text type. So because it is a text type data, it is appearing over here. I'll double click on it and see what is the result it is giving me. So you can see as it found the accessories, it says found it, and for the rest of it, it says null. That means it is not trying to find out any value. And the null value is just showing because we haven't specified any different condition. What would happen if it is not able to find out the accessories? It should also have some parameter. So for that, what I'll do is I'll move to a different function. And this time I'll use if function. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go in the create calculated field. I'll go in the logical option, and here I'll use the if function. If function can be combined with else, and it is used to give the different values. That if condition over here is used to give different kind of statements. For example, on the right hand side you can see if this expression is met, then you want to give any different kind of expression. Let's say if you have found subcategories, you want to write found it, and if you are not able to find subcategories as accessories, you should give it as not found. So how would you do that? So I can write the condition over here that if my subcategory, so let me write subcategory is equals to accessories. So accessories would be in quotes. Then it should write found it. I can use the else condition with the if condition, and that would give me the result. If this condition is not met, what would be the next result that you want to provide? Else, say not found. So this would remove all your null values. And then I want to end this statement. So to end this statement, I would write end. And since this calculation is valid, I can proceed. Let me rename it, and I can write if test over here. Again, I'll drag and drop this value, and this time you can see it's not giving me the value as null value, it is giving the value as the statement that I provided. So I told it that if you find the subcategory as accessories, you have to give found it option, and if you are not able to find it, you have to give me the result as not found. So this is one of the way in which you can try to build some if and else statement, and also the case statements. Now let's look at the another logical operator, that is the or. So I'll go in the create calculated field. Here, let's say I want to define it that if the sum of my sales is greater than say 2 lakh, or the sum of the profit is greater than 3000, then I want my Tableau to show that that is fairly a good category. And if it is not that, then I wanted to show that you should really work on that particular subcategory. So let's try to create a calculation for that. I'll name this calculation or calculation. And in the case over here, I'll write if sum of the sales is greater than 2 lakh, then it should say good. But here I also want to use the or, good going. So to include or, what I can do is over here just before then I can use the or statement. With the help of or, I can define a different kind of statement as well. So or in or I'll give sum of profit should be greater than 30,000, or say 3,000 should be greater than 3,000. Then it should say good going. And if this is not the case, then else needs improvement. So this is the thing I want to tell it. If the sum of the sales is greater than 2 lakh, or the sum of the profit is greater than 3,000, then good choice, else needs improvement. So if any of this condition is met, it would give me the result as good choice, or it would say needs improvement. Here right now it is showing me some calculation errors. So let's try to find out what is the calculation error that I have made over here. So the sum of the profit over here has been not correctly identified. Right now it has been identified. So this is one of the ways in which you can try to rectify your mistakes. Here it would be showing you that you are making some kind of mistake, and you can easily correct it. You can click on apply and OK. And to find out the sales and profit, first you have to list the original sales and profit. So I have double clicked on it, and I have made a text table, and you can see the original profit and sales. And let's now click on the or calculation. So this or calculation right now is working on the color format. I don't want to see the color format. I want it to be in the text typing. So I can drag and drop it, and you can see everything is showing as good going. This is happening because either of one condition is true. Over here you can see the profit is way less than 3,000. But since the sales is greater than 2 lakh, that's why it is giving me the value as good going. If that single condition was not met and the other condition was also not met, it would give me the result as needs improvement. So in an OR operator, even if a single condition is met, it would give you the result. Else, if the condition is not met, it would give you the result that you have shown in the else system. So this is the way in which you can use some of the logical functions in Tab. I hope this session was clear to you. We'll be meeting in the next session where we'll be talking about the aggregate functions in Tableau. Thank you.